Aztecross, why would I ever want to use this sidearm? I've got Drang at home. And that's a fair point. But what if I told you there was a 360 round per minute sidearm that could do everything Drang does? And that's Heliocentric QSC. Now this is not a new weapon. It actually released to us back in the beginning of Season of the Witch, and I completely overlooked it, assuming that there was really nothing here for this little sidearm to offer me. But considering solar weapons are so damn good this season, on top of that, you can also target farm Heliocentric amongst a number of other world drop weapons from our lost sectors this season. Feel free to check out our guide. I felt that now was a good time to really talk about this sidearm. Now the obvious comparison is of course Drang. Drang being another solar sidearm, but they're different frames, as Helio is a lightweight sidearm and Drang is an adaptive. They also have different perks. Now for Helio in that left column, we have perks like Hill Clip, Demolitionist, Perpetual Motion, Rangefinder, Moving Targets, and Enlightened Action. In our right column, we have Incandescent, Kill Clip, Frenzy, Adrenaline Junkie, Surrounded, and Precision Instruments. Now I want to actually look at PvE first. There are two perks that I really wanted on that left column of this sidearm. One of those being Demolitionist, and the other one, which I know no one is going to recommend here, but I just gotta mention it, is Hill Clip. Now we know what Demolitionist does. It gives us grenade energy on kills, and activating your grenade ability will reload the weapon from reserves. It's a phenomenal perk, especially for my folks out there using a grenade-based build, as it gives you 10% of your grenade energy back for every kill. But then we have Hill Clip. It reads that reloading shortly after dealing a final blow grants cure to you and your nearby allies. Now there's nothing hidden within this perk. Essentially, you reload after getting a kill within 5 seconds, and you grant yourself and nearby teammates cure ×1, which is an instant plus 60 HP inside of PvE. Now here's the thing. I know this doesn't seem like a good perk. Some of you are probably like, Cross, why would I need 60 HP? Keep in mind though, it's not just for you, it's for your teammates as well. And no lie, Hill Clip actually stood out to me. And I feel like this is a perk that has been severely overlooked. And as I began to lean more and more into it, I saw the vision for Heliocentric. This sidearm is the perfect solar tool, a weapon that can handle itself and of course lean into our solar subclass. And when comparing it side by side to Drang, it's that combination of Hill Clip and that solar synergy that Heliocentric has, at least specifically in that column. Now when we look at the right column, there really is only one perk here, guys, that I'm crazy about, and that's Incandescent. The perk states that defeating targets spreads Scorch to those nearby. More powerful combatants and imposing guardians cause Scorch in a larger radius. So essentially, guys, you get a kill, they explode, dealing damage and giving nearby enemies 30 Scorch stacks or 40 if you happen to be rocking Ember of Ashes. Now the main thing is the AoE damage, the Scorch also tagging on that extra damage. Occasionally though, you can build up to an ignition. Incandescent though on so many weapons is a phenomenal perk and one of my favorites. And it's the one that I always use when it comes to Drang inside of PvE. Now Drang actually pulls ahead here as it's a craftable weapon, allowing it to have access to enhance incandescence, which applies more stacks than that of base. Now this is roughly 45 with Ember of Ashes, so it is just 5 more, but something to take note of. Now the last piece of this weapon is its origin trait, Nadir Focus. This trait reads that sustained fire increases accuracy and range. And to be honest, this really doesn't mean much inside of PvE. Each shot fired gives us a stack, with each stack granting 2 range and minus 1.5% accuracy cone size, capping out at 10 range and minus 7.5% cone size. Definitely an origin trait here gauged at PvP. So what is the god roll for my PvE players? Personally, guys, I like Hill Clip and Incandescence. It just works, and it pairs so nicely with Solar 3.0. There was many times while using this that Hill Clip was actually clutching up for me, and it got to the point where I was actually relying on that instant heal. This also allows me to push, and considering that Devour got nerfed for everything but Warlock, this is almost like Devour, granted not as much health, but you're getting close to that point. Now I will say, in activities like Grandmaster Nightfalls, obviously 60 HP won't save you from being one-shot, but outside of healing myself, in multiplayer activities, Hill Clip is the best way to proc Ember of Benevolence, which reads that applying Restoration, Cure, or Radiant to allies grants increased grenade, melee, and class ability regeneration for a short duration. Now this is the real reason why I like this perk and why I'm choosing it over Demolitionist. You see, guys, Ember of Benevolence grants us 400% additional base grenade, melee, and class ability regeneration rates for 6 seconds whenever we grant Cure to our allies. That means as we slay out with this weapon, this perk can almost always stay active. So from just Hill Clip, we're getting all of our abilities back quicker, as well as an impactful boost to our team's survivability. Then we have Incandescence, which does just as much. An explosion that scorches and deals damage and can eventually ignite is incredible. But it's even better looking at how it interfaces with our solar subclass. We've got Ember of Searing, which states that defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite. Now any kill you get on a scorched enemy will grant you at least 8% melee energy back. And this scales with the enemy rank, topping out at 25% of your melee. On top of that, you're now creating fire sprites, which, get this, grants us 10% grenade energy. And that's just one fragment. The last fragment I want to mention here is Ember of Singeing, which states that your class ability recharges faster when you scorch targets. Fellas, this is a 300% increase to class ability regeneration. And if you pair each of these fragments together, essentially off of every kill with Heliocentric, you're getting all of your abilities back faster, with your melee and class ability coming back really fast. And that's just how this weapon works as the perfect solar tool. Now, directly comparing that to what we have with Drain, Heliocentric contains better solar synergy simply because it can roll with Heal Clip. If Drain had that perk, I'm sure Heliocentric would just start to gather dust, but it doesn't. And that's what allows Heliocentric to find its own position within my loadout and at least coexist with Drain inside of PvE. Now, the last thing I'm going to mention before we move over to PvP is our artifact mods. We've got 4 more months of solar weapons being crazy. Guys, these artifact mods are not going to be rotating out anytime soon, so take advantage of them. And Heliocentric here benefits greatly. Now, first, we have anti-barrier for our sidearms. This is great for Helio, as it will not only give you the ability to counter barrier champions, but also overcharge the sidearm. Then we have Kindling Trigger, which states that while we are radiant, we are also applying Scorch on the front end. Now, when you pair this with Incandescent, it means we're going to be outputting up to 65 stacks of Scorch. That's more than half of what we need with an Ignition. Then we have Flint Strider, which will grant us radiance from just landing 4 precision hits with this sidearm. And to top it all off, we have Rays of Precision, which will grant us ignitions on those precision kills while we are radiant. Fellas, this sidearm is nasty, truly. And I know you may be clutching your Drain right now saying, Cross, never. And that's fine. By all means, keep using Drain. All I'm saying here, guys, is that Helio clearly puts out. Now, moving on to PvP. Now, we've got a few people that have sung the praises of Heliocentric in PvP. True Vanguard, at least from his review, loves this sidearm. Personally, though, guys, I'm going to be hard-pressed to play with this over Drain, especially considering you can rock Drain with enhanced Zim moments and enhanced moving targets. It feels phenomenal. Heliocentric, though, although it does have a fast time to kill of 0.67 seconds, and it's also super forgiving at 3 crits and 2 body, I would still choose Drain over it. And keep in mind, Drain actually has a better optimal time to kill, albeit unforgiving, requiring 4 crits, but that time to kill is 0.6 seconds. Now, if you're committed to using Heliocentric inside of PvP, there's a lot of things that really are working in your advantage. Number one, it's a lightweight frame. So you got that superb handling, you move faster with the weapon itself. Number two, everything we mentioned about Nadir Focus not being utilized inside of PvE, well, inside of PvP, you can definitely utilize it, as it helps with both that range and that accuracy cone size. Now, the perks to utilize. In that left column, guys, I think moving target is the way to go. You can go perpetual motion, but I like moving target a lot. In that right column, the perk that I really wanted to see was precision instruments. Keep in mind, precision instruments states that weapon hits grants a stack of precision instruments for 1.25 seconds, and this will give you a buff to your damage, that being your precision damage. Now, yes, you can crank that damage up and get it to the point where you're hitting 50 damage to the head, but in the grand scheme of things, precision instruments is allowing you to 3 crit 2 body on max resilience guardians, which I'm not saying doesn't help. Believe me, it does. So there may actually be a moment where precision instrument is the play. So it's going to be a toss-up whether or not you should use that over Kill Clip. And again, Kill Clip, its benefits are obvious. That 25% buff, the ability to 3 crit 1 body in 0.5 seconds, a lot of good things there. But if you're looking to shift the time to kill there for precision instruments, number one, you can't do it on the same target you're hitting. You actually have to build up body shots and then transfer to another target. Again, though, I leave this up to you. What I will say about Heliocentric, at least for my roles, and again, I don't have a god roll PvP role. I would have preferred Hammerforged rifling, accurized rounds, moving targets, and whatever in that final column to buff my damage, and potentially a ranged masterwork. But keep in mind, guys, this sidearm, even with a super high range roll, we're talking 57 range or more, will not even make it past 16 meters. Now look, I know Drain doesn't go much further than that. A 65 range roll of Drain, it's about 16.3 meters. But the reason why I bring all this up is the same reason why I don't really use sidearms inside of PvP, and that's because SMGs are so damn good. That is SMG territory. And when I come around the corner and I'm faced with Unending Tempest or Immortal or a variety of other machine guns, fellas, it's tough, man. Not saying you can't use this sidearm in PvP, but on PC, submachine guns are king. And if I do find myself using a sidearm, I actually just prefer Drain. So guys, that is our complete review there of Heliocentric. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And again, if you're looking to farm any of the world drops, we made an entire guide on this. Feel free to check that out. We'll have that video linked down below in the description. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.